I will straight get into the nitty-gritty of the subject matter that we will discuss today. And I thought I would start this discussion with a fairly general question, which is that how do you see the opportunities and challenges of being a trade and industry minister in these days of months of global economic policy uncertainty and turbulence?
Well, it is like Manthan. What was the original Manthan? Amrit to Manthan se hi nikla tha na.
Absolutely.
So I don't see, in fact, my late father had once told me that if everything was to be normal and everything was to go by the rules of ordinary business, or everything was to be normal,
Yeah.
then probably you and I, both of us, would be out of a job.
I don't know about you. I would have surely be out of job.
Well, I think the fact is that the world is certainly going through a churn. India is like an oasis in the desert, providing tremendous amount of confidence to our partners around the world. We are looked up for our decisive leadership, the massive reform program that Prime Minister Modi has embarked upon, the Reform Express that Modi 3.0 has unleashed, which is helping ease of doing business, ease of living, through our efforts to decriminalize laws, remove some of the obsolete laws, make it easier to comply with rules, processes, procedures, in every respect, an effort to prepare India to engage with the world from a position of strength, full of confidence, building our own capabilities, and earning the trust of the world. The moment the world sees India as a trusted partner, they wish to do a trade deal with us, they wish to have us in their global value chains, they wish to have Indians working in their corporations, in their countries, peace-loving, very, very sober. Indians tend to engage with local communities in a very simple way. We are not a threat to anybody's culture, to any local flavor. And therefore, today, 140 crore Indians are loved, they are respected, and they are trusted across the world. And that is our strength today. And I'm technically supposed to be immobilized right now.
Yeah.
But the need of the hour is such there's no choice.
Absolutely.
Look at just the day today
Yeah.
in the context of international engagements.
Yeah.
Of course, after a cabinet meeting in the morning, there have been a series of engagements starting from the Gulf Cooperation Council, the GCC, 6-nation Middle East countries, and India launching our free trade agreement negotiations. We already have Oman and UAE. The other 4 would also like to have an FTA, so we're going to do a collective FTA of all 6. We decided to launch negotiations, and they were a little amazed at my suggestion that we should conclude it in about a year's time.
Oh, one year.
It'll take
One year
a longer
timeline.
time, but I said, I mean, beyond a year, then we'll get more controversies than collaborations.
Okay.
Soon after that, I had an engagement with the whole team of negotiators from Israel who have come down to India and were doing the negotiations in Vanijya Bhavan. I had invited them for a cup of coffee to hear from them how the negotiations are going on. I had the IBM chairman meet me after that to discuss the changing times, the impact of technology, how applied AI can help India to evolve, what we need to do for skilling, and he's offered to even open a skilling center in India, in Mumbai, for for AI skills at 3 levels for our young men and women in Mumbai. We'll be happy to do it in Delhi also soon.
Sure.
Then I had Christopher Woods from Jefferies come over to meet
Okay.
me.
Okay.
In between, I had a startup from Germany, Flexibus, who runs the unicorn and runs shared transport, mobility, shared public transport. After that, addressed CII
Absolutely.
on a global competitiveness readiness
Yes.
framework to make India ready to compete with the world through export competitiveness and quality being at the centerpiece of that. I'm
Thank
here.
you.
And from here, I rushed straight to a VC with my Chilean counterpart.
Yeah.
And we'll hopefully conclude a free trade agreement soon with Chile.
Yeah.
And the critical element is critical minerals.
Yeah.
Just to share with you one day in the Commerce
Absolutely.
Minister's life of India.
Yeah. Can I ask you?
And there are many other meetings, internal, departmental, in between, I'm not even talking about. The only person unhappy in this whole process is my doctor. It would be great, but don't worry, it look bad.
No, not at all. Not at all. I've just requested the trade minister to consider having a foot rest because he's just come out of it and he's not agreeing, but I'm forcing it on him. Thank you, Mr. Minister. Thank you for agreeing. There is a talk about how. Thank you. India has signed over a dozen trade agreements the last few years. A lot of people say that has happened because the world has changed. A lot of people say that maybe India's approach has changed. How do you think, what are the factors and what factors you think is primary in this approach to trade policy as such, where India is opening up to trade agreements that are helpful, that will open up our trade opportunities?
Well, if you don't mind a little bit of politics thrown in responding to your question.
Yeah.
Since you mentioned dozens of FTAs, if you had mentioned 8, I would have stuck to the 8 that we have done in the Modi government.
Yeah.
There are no dozens of FTAs. The FTAs done before the Modi government came in the 8, 9, 10 period were FTAs done largely with our competing economies. I mean, the ASEAN region. Brunei and Singapore, and both are small nations. Brunei is a very, very small nation. Singapore is a trading nation. Other than that, all other 8 members are developing countries. They are our direct competitors. I mean, you'll all agree we are competing with Vietnam, with Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand. They're all our competitors. The Congress government did an FTA with the ASEAN region. They did an FTA with Japan and Korea, but did not protect India's interests enough to be able to help us grow our exports genuinely. If you will see the export figure to Japan and Korea over the last 15 years, it's almost flat. Give or take 10%, it would go up, come down. It's almost flat. Because the FTA is not crafted to bring in that balance that we should have smartly negotiated. We've done FTAs with Singapore separately, and Malaysia separately, which really now doesn't matter because ASEAN is already done. These were the FTAs. They did some preferential trade agreements, 200 odd lines with Mercosur. I don't know what worth you would give to that.
Fair enough.
So developed economy was not in their radar. They started negotiations with EU in 2006, launched it in 2007, aborted it in 2013. With Australia, the same story, aborted it in 2013. They were scared. They didn't have the courage of conviction in our abilities as a nation, in the abilities of our youth. And which was the other FTA that threw us in? It was actually throwing India under the bus. You've heard of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP. Some journalists still write op-eds and articles suggesting India should join RCEP, which I really wonder what is the amount of understanding such journalists have. Sorry for that.
No, not at all.
RCEP was an agreement between 15 countries. India was not a part of RCEP. The RCEP was between China, mark my words, China, the 10-nation ASEAN, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, 15 countries. India was not a part of it. Actually, we already had an FTA by that time with the 10-nation ASEAN bloc, with Japan and Korea. 12 were covered. Australia, we were negotiating. We could have easily closed it with Australia. But instead of that, we aborted Australia. New Zealand was the 14th country. Our total bilateral trade was $300 million. So who's left? Who's left?
China.
Only China? So what was RCEP? It was an FTA between China and India. We already had an FTA with all the other countries, or could have had it.
Could have had it.
So are we in a position, any of us in this room, to suggest a non-market economy, even though WTO may have categorized it as such, but I don't know if anybody in this room will accept that China doesn't do predatory pricing, or because of their high surplus capacities doesn't dump goods in other nations. The whole world is talking about it. So we were effectively thrown under the bus, as I said, to do an FTA with China. It's fortunate that the people of India defeated the Congress in 14, and with them their partners, the DMK and Trinamool Congress and Samajwadi Party all went out of government. And Prime Minister Modi came into government so that he could talk to stakeholders. I personally have had 200 meetings across the country with associations, with sectoral interests, with industry. Will you believe if I tell you only 3 engagements, people said we should join RCEP. 197 said, for heaven's sake, save us from RCEP.
Okay.
And on 4th November 2019, Prime Minister Modi had the courage to stand before the world community and say India refuses to join RCEP. It was a single most important decision which saved manufacturing in India, which saved jobs in India, which gave opportunity to all these young men and women to become entrepreneurs, startups, get work. Otherwise, we would all have been salesmen and salesgirls selling Chinese goods in India or imported stuff in India. And look at the mindset of the Modi government. As was just mentioned by Sailesh, the 8 FTAs are all with developed economies. Mauritius is not yet a developed economy, but Mauritius is a financial services and tourism center, not a threat to us. As it is 60% of the population, there is people of Indian origin. Every other country has a high per capita income. They are no threat to us. We don't compete, we complement each other. We have a clarity in our vision that we want to expand the market because no country has become a developed nation without engaging with the world. And we want to open the doors to greater engagement. We want to open markets. Today, 2/3 of global market is open for our businesses.
Okay.
Imagine what a thrust it will give to manufacturing. And with our labor costs being significantly lower than all these trading partners, it opens up a plethora of opportunity for us to get high technology and innovation that they are known for, to produce in India goods at scale, which then they can use for not only the Indian market, but to export to Africa, to Latin America, to other parts of the world. And having opened up so many markets, India is now ideally poised to be a part of global value chains. And given the immense trust that the world has in all of you,
That's right.
given the decisive leadership that India offers to the world, given Prime Minister Modi's stability and political uh, good governance that he brings to the table, the demographic dividend that young India presents, the democratic principles, the rule of law, which promises or comforts investors that they'll never be discriminated against. The fact that we have a vibrant judiciary, we have a powerful media to keep everybody in check. This potent combination is today India's greatest strength.
So, and that is what you think is really sort of has led to these. That's very. How do you think the 8 trade deals that the Modi government has concluded? How is industry responding to it? Do you think would you as a government would you like the industry to respond it in a certain way? What are the expectations, and are there any gaps?
Well, it's a story of a glass half full. I'm really grateful to industry for their support. After all, when we do any FTA, we discuss with all stakeholders, understand what they want to protect, what is their offensive interest, what is their defensive interest. We ensure that we protect the interests of our farmers, our fishermen, our MSMEs, our startups. You balance all interests and make sure that you get what you want best from the FTA.
That's right.
There are, I can assure you, only a win-win out of every FTA that we have done. Every trade deal that we have done is in the interest of India, protects our defensive interests in toto, on record with full confidence and responsibility. And courage of conviction at my command, I can say, every single FTA has been done to protect our sensitive interests, ensure that we don't compromise at all on anything what is good for India, and yet open up opportunities for our business, our industry, our youth, our women entrepreneurs, our startups, our MSMEs, our fishermen, our farmers. And I think they've come up to speed very well. We've doubled our trade with Australia and UAE in the short span that the FTA has been on.
Okay.
Many of the FTAs are in the process of coming into effect. EFTA just came into effect on 1st October. It's too early.
Yeah.
UK, we are expecting sometime in April. Oman, we are expecting sometime in April to come into effect. New Zealand, later part of this year. The EU FTA maybe should get completed. The process is a little longer in EU by the end of this calendar year, so it may come into effect first quarter next year. So for us, it's been if you ask me, a labor of love.
Labor of love.
In opening up the doors to provide opportunities to 140 crore Indians.
Excellent. On industry's response, you said the glass is half full and half empty.
Well, there's so many more people in the interiors of India and the remotest parts of India, MSMEs who are not really familiar of how to go about exports. What are the opportunities? Which are the markets where their product can sell?
That's right.
What are the benefits now the FTA gives them? How the export promotion mission can help them get approvals, get certifications, get quality tests. Should they require any upgrading in technology, how we can help them, or how many of the FTAs can help them. Because many FTAs, now we talk about technology partnerships also. Many FTAs, we talk about access to capital. Investment commitments are brought into FTAs. So I think what we are planning in the export promotion mission in collaboration with industry associations is to train some trainers, maybe invite 1,000 young men and women. And I hope some of you in this room will also apply and get interviewed and get selected to be trained to become, let's say, support facility or mentors to our MSMEs across the country. See, the large or even the medium for that matter is able to navigate this process. It's our micro and small. It's our farmers. It's our fishermen. It's our small seafood exporters whom we need to handhold, we need to mentor, we need to educate. that's the glass
That's right.
which we have to
Thank you.
take to the people
Thank you
of
for
India.
explaining this. It's very clear that on trade policy, the government's approach, we understood you from very clearly. But there's something also which you are in charge of, which is the industrial policy. Uh, has there been a change in the approach to industrial policy? I mean, we saw the launch and the rollout of the PLI scheme, which is part of the industrial policy. How do you think that is progressing? What is the way forward on the industrial policy front?
See, industrial policy will always ultimately rest on two important pillars: high quality and sustainability. These two pillars are becoming more and more important across the world. You cannot become a global player without high quality of goods, services, technology, whatever, and without respecting sustainability
Okay.
or the impact on the environment. Along with that, our PLI schemes, our various efforts like in semiconductors and other technology industry, we are giving some support from the government to kickstart it. PLIs were given to kickstart manufacturing at scale for Indian and global markets. We have come out with a 1 lakh crore innovation fund to support research and development and make India a country of innovators and deep thinkers. Government can play the role of a facilitator. As you know, like a scooter. Nowadays, you're more used to motorcycles. But scooter used to have a kick. You used to give a kick, and then the scooter would start.
Absolutely.
In our times.
Absolutely.
So these are all ways to kickstart the industrial ecosystem or thinking or mindset. Ultimately, our competitiveness, our innovative thinking, our entrepreneurial abilities, the high quality of goods that we produce, these are going to determine our success stories. I have absolutely no doubt. The world is going to be open for us now. The world wants to engage with India. In many cases, buyers will help us also to improve our quality or competitiveness, because they recognize that working with a trusted partner like India is important for their competitiveness, for their ability to capture world markets.
There is a lot of talk going on, at least in the commentariat, on what should be our approach to investment from China. There is this press note 3, which subjects investment from all neighboring countries to review on a case-by-case basis. What is, you are the industry minister, what's your approach to investment from China, and what should be the way forward?
Was, press note 3 was brought in to safeguard Indian industry, Indian businesses from opportunistic takeovers.
That's right.
Particularly in the wake of the COVID pandemic, when valuations had taken a big dip. In the evolving situation, changing times, ours is a listening government. We are always open to new ideas and we are always open to change with evolving times. So we are in dialogue with industry to understand what are the difficulties they face, how we can make it easier for them to engage also with our neighboring countries where their relationships have improved. We have an open mind to see how we can attract better technology, more investment from China also. We are in dialogue, and let us see, it will be an evolving situation. And we are open to newer ideas.
How soon this investment from China issue can be resolved? Because the industry, it seems in some ways...
We'll have to see what really needs to be done in consultation with industry.
Okay.
It may be a calibrated response. It may be step by step. And at the same time, we will certainly like to speed up the process. Ultimately, it's not banned.
It is not banned.
An approval process.
It goes through Home Ministry
Our
clearance.
immediate effort is to speed up that approval process and make it easier for people to engage with technology and help expand our value chain engagement.
Mr. Minister, I heard you. That will be my last question before I ask one or two questions from the floor, if you agree to take, and I can see Himanshu is looking at me. I have to release you very soon. The question is, you told your last session, and I heard you speak, and you used a very interesting phrase. You said quality and standards are passports to a market. Uh, uh, in India, we have seen a lot of review on the quality control orders. What is your overall approach and this idea of QCOs? How do you look at it and how do you see it evolve?
Well, BIS has been making standards for many, many years.
That's right.
There were always normally voluntary standards, but the intention and desire and hope was that more and more people will move towards those standards and give high quality goods and services. Sadly, thanks to some of the steps taken by the previous government in terms of reducing our import duties very significantly in the 2007-8 to 14 period, we had a huge influx of Chinese goods or substandard goods at very low prices coming into India during that period.
Okay.
In fact, I don't know if you're aware, the trade deficit with China alone, but hear this out, the trade deficit with China alone grew between 2004 to 14 by over 2,500%. More than 25 times the trade deficit grew between 2004 to 2014. And this is like an opium, you know. Once you get used to low quality but low price goods, it's very difficult to wean people away. We kept increasing the import duty, but still they kept reducing the price and dumping those goods.
Okay.
And in a WTO world, where we have accepted MFN and we have accepted open market policies for all countries, other than taking action through price control or through minimum import price or licensing, which you can do in occasional products, you can't do it across 12,000 HSN codes. India did suffer a long period of customers not recognizing that high quality is actually good for them and is not necessarily costlier. I personally believe quality doesn't come at a cost. Quality, in fact, comes at lower cost over a sustained period of time, particularly when you see the value proposition. So if I was to buy a pair of shoes which lasted me 6 months and it was half the price, but if I was to buy a pair of shoes which lasted me 8 or 9 years, and I think this shoe is probably at least 7 or 8 years old, obviously quality is better.
Absolutely.
Even though may have been slightly costlier at that point of time. But as scale improves and increases, even the quality comes at a lower price. The quality control orders were largely being issued to inculcate that quality, safeguard our consumers' interests. It was not a non-trade barrier.
Okay.
The intention is not to stop any imports. It's only an intention to move our customers to demanding higher quality, to make sure that good quality products are sold in the Indian market. And I'm happy that it has started having an impact, so much so that in some cases we've been able to withdraw the quality control order, having created a situation where by and large now you can get goods of good quality in those products in the market. So our effort is to move more and more people and consumers to demanders of good quality. The young children here will not know, but some of us older persons would remember the old days. When you went to a market, you would always ask, Bhaiya jara export quality ka maal dikhana. Am I wrong?
Absolutely.
हम जाते थे ना दुकान में जब भैया पुराना टाइम में एक्सपोर्ट क्वालिटी का माल दिखाना. क्यों? क्योंकि देश में 2 क्वालिटी बिकती थी. There was an export quality and there was a quality we were relegated to being subjected to or using.
Absolutely.
Our effort is that country should have only one quality, and that should be good quality, because there is no bigger stakeholder than 140 crore Indians.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One quick.
And it's not a new thing. Prime Minister Modi from 2014 has stressed on quality. In 14, he said we should work on the principle of Z, zero effect, zero defect.
That's right.
When Parliament started the last session, his opening remarks, he spoke of quality. In the Rajya Sabha, replying to the President's debate on the President's motion of thanks, he spoke of quality. In his Mann Ki Baat in January, he spoke on quality. Every single opportunity the Prime Minister gets, he tries to drive people's attention and involve people of India to focus on quality.
Yeah, one quick question and a quick answer. How soon you think you will be resuming your trade talks with the US?
Well, as soon as there's more clarity in the situation.
Okay, okay.